Hi guys, welcome back. If you can hear a kitty cat in here, it's my Sammy. She's saying hello. She wants Mama to pet her. So I don't go on Instagram very often, but every once in a while I do. So I was asked what my top 10 tools would be I'm not talking about like ink, but my top 10 tools that I would recommend for paper crafting or making cards or doing journals. So my first would be like a trimmer of some kind, whether it's a slide trimmer or a guillotine. This is the newest little member of my arsenal here. It's actually a 10 by 12 inch paper cutter. It has a magnetic piece here that you can put, to make sure that you get an accurate cut or measurement when you're doing it. And it has a safety blade on here. This was actually a Christmas present from my daughter. And it cuts like 10 sheets of paper at once. I typically don't use 10 sheets of paper at once, but it will go through 3 pieces of 120-pound cardstock pretty good. But some sort of a paper trimmer, that is a must. Now if you make cards specifically, then you may just want a smaller guillotine trimmer and not a large one, because if you make cards you may not use like 12 by 12 papers very often, and more just other sizes. Now blending brushes of some kind. These are like the smaller brushes for stencils. You have like the smaller ones of these or the larger versions of these. This is actually what I use for vintage photo. The oxides, the brown oxides. Hi baby. I know, I see you. Her sister gave her catnip. So that's number 2. Blending brushes of some kind. For stencils, for just blending ink on cardstock, that sort of thing. A Crop-A-Dile, whether you have the Big Bite or the Big Bite 2, whichever one. I have both, but I mean whichever one. I actually typically use this one more for large or like journal covers, especially going through chipboard, because it has the long reach. But I just have it on my table because I was actually using it for cards. A pokey tool of some kind, which is handy for cards, for embellishments. It's also handy for dies, which, I recommend a die cutting machine, whether you prefer an electric one or a manual one or a mini one, whichever. If you use small dies mostly, then a mini one will probably all that you need. Come on, get up here. Get up here with mommy then. Come on. Come on, get up here. Come on, get up here. You went up here? I don't necessarily recommend this for a tool, but I do recommend a good crafting buddy. This is my Sammy. She's just all up underneath here. Now her brother wouldn't get up here obviously if he was in here, but he's currently passed out right now because he had catnip earlier too, and she runs around like a crackhead when she's on catnip, and he just passes out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I also recommend a sewing machine. I would show you mine, but I can't take the camera off right now because I have a sandwich in my hands here. Samshine. My Sammy. Yes, it's my Sammy. That's my baby. Yes. That's my girl. Okay. Alright. Get down. Yeah, a sewing machine for doing, you know, like wonky stitching or regular stitching, you know, any kind of stitching for either journal covers or around cards or tags or whatnot. So that's 5. Obviously a good pair of scissors. You know, whether you use scissors like these for fussy cutting, or scissors like long bladed scissors, like the Tim Holtz ones. These are my favorite long bladed scissors. I like that both of them have a cover on them so I don't accidentally stab myself if they fall off the hook or something. I also recommend, that's number 6, I also recommend a heat tool, or, you know, heat embossing tool. I have the WOW heat embossing tool here because it has 2 settings, the low and the high. The high is for actual heat embossing, the low is for just drying like ink or paint or whatnot. Just to dry your media, whatever it is that you happen to be using. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay. Number 8 would be a stamping platform of some kind, or acrylic blocks. This is just one of those stamp press things, whatever you call them, that go over your thingy. I've got a Stamp Perfect one. It looks exactly like a MISTI, but it's called a Stamp Perfect tool. I got it off Amazon for a lot less than what a MISTI costs, and it works the same. Works beautifully. The little this mat comes out, so if you use clear stamps, or not clear stamps, the rubber stamps, you take the mat out, and of course I have the Tim Holtz one, which is larger. That, it says clear. One side is for clear, and then you flip it around to use with his rubber stamps or other, rubber stamps that you happen to have. So, because one side is kind of smooth and the other side is a little bumpy. To give you the right grab. I also have acrylic blocks. So that is number 9. And number 10, I'm going to be kind of basic here as far as tools are concerned, and actually say a ruler of some type. Whether you have, like a tear ruler like this, or a miter ruler just for measurements, or like measuring tape, or whatever, or like the, like the Tim Holtz center ruler, it's the 0 center ruler, whatever it is, whatever it's called, I can't remember what it's called. There are other 0 center rulers that you can buy other than the Tim Holtz one, but his has a metal edge on there for tearing things with. But there are occasions where measurements are accurate. As a bonus tool, though, I am going to say a scoreboard. Now, if your trimmer has a scoreboard on it, then you get a 2-for-1, so it's together. Like, my Stampin' Up! One has a scoring blade on it as well. I use both. It just depends on what project I'm doing, and whether I need a trimmer or not at that particular time also. If I need a trimmer and a score, then I'll just use the the Stampin' Up! One so that I can use them both at the same time. But yeah, that's, I don't know, just kind of thought that I would, answer the question there of what kind of tools would I use. Another bonus tool would be a corner rounder. I like the ones that have the 3 holes, so you can decide, you know, how big you want your corner round to be. There is also, you know, the one from We Are Memory Keepers, but I don't like this one. Simply because my large side has never worked right. Because when you, I'll show you. It's like when you put the card in to do it. See how it leaves these weird edges? It's because it doesn't fit in there properly. Okay. So that side does it too, but not quite as bad. But it's never fit in there right. But this, I've never had trouble with. So, I'm like, I can... So yeah, that can fit. Doesn't fit those sides, but anyway. You know, I've never had troubles using one of these before. So yeah, definitely a corner rounder of some kind. So that's actually 12 tools instead of 10. But those, especially like if you're just beginning, you know, we will talk about supplies on, I guess the next video, because I feel like that's something that we could go over too. Like, we talked about what tools you need, but why would you need those tools? Like, what type of supplies would you use as far as doing a junk journal? Because the supplies that you would use, though similar to a card making tools, they're not always the same. Especially if you just want to do, you know, junk journals or whatnot. So we can talk about that next. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I will see you guys back here again really soon. Bye!